Tyre Sampson from St. Louis, Missouri, was a 14-year-old big teddy bear, a gentle, kind-hearted giant. His weight and height made him an ideal football player. He was known for getting out of his way to help others. People would say he's the kind of kid who would give the shirt off his back to anyone who needed it. His future was looking quite bright, for he was not just an excellent footballer, but also an honor student with top grades. But destiny had something else in store for Tyre, something rather horrific and sad. He died after falling from the 130-meter-high Orlando FreeFall drop tower ride. His death was nothing less nor more than negligence by the park. Stay tuned for the details of the tragic death of Tyre Sampson at the Orlando Icon Park. Tyre Sampson was braver than most people. He saw death coming and acted in a way that spills true heroism. He felt that something was inherently wrong with his seat on the ride, but that realization did not manifest until it was too late. The ride was already 130 meters off the ground and about to plunge at the speed of 120 kilometers per hour when Tyre came to realize that something was terribly wrong and he would not make it. He panicked and tried to get help, but was wise enough to know that no one could do anything for him because it was too late. It was simply too late to somehow convey a message to the operator to stop the world's largest freestanding drop tower ride. Even if he and others on the ride screamed their lungs out, there was simply no time, because the ride was mere seconds from commencing a thrilling, sudden drop. The riders seated next to him in the massive vehicle encircling the tower that takes up to 30 riders to the structure's top noticed his panic, and they too were as helpless as he was. But they do remember his last brave words. "I don't know, man. If I don't make it down safely, can you please tell my mama and daddy that I love them?" Seconds later, he fell from his seat and died instantly upon impacting the ground. Tyre Sampson was visiting Florida for spring break with his football team. On March 24, 2022, he decided to go to the Orlando Icon amusement park with a group of friends. It was a good evening, and everything was going just fine as Tyre and his friends tried different rides and munched on some of the park's delicious goodies. The freefall drop tower ride caught Tyre's attention, and so he headed there to have some fun along with two of his friends from the football team. Everyone was seated in the ride's vehicle and strapped. So far, everything was fine. The ride began to ascend to the top, and still everything was just fine. And then it began the process of tilting about 30 degrees so that the riders sort of faced the ground before it drops about 120 meters at the speed of 120 kilometers per hour. At that moment, Tyre noticed something wrong with his harness. Even people on the ground noticed that something was bothering him. But it was too late. His final words to his friends sitting next to him were heartbreaking. Whatever he noticed wrong with his seat and harness made him feel that he would not survive the disaster coming his way. "Can you please tell my mama and daddy that I love them?" These were his final words before the ride's vehicle began rocketing towards the ground. As soon as the ride's magnetic brakes began to engage about halfway through in preparation to slow down and come to a full stop at ground level, Tyre fell from about 50 meters high. He instantly died from serious injuries to his head, neck, and torso. The fall was simply unsurvivable. At that moment, around 11 p.m., Tyre's dreams of a bright future, including becoming a professional football player, became a mere memory in the minds and hearts of his parents and those who loved him. His horrific fall was captured on a video by an unknown person who was filming the ride at that moment. The video circulated on social media for a while. People began 911 as soon as he hit the ground. One of the callers said in the emergency audio recording, "No."
And during the middle of the ride, The guy just came off.
He's dead. He's dead. He's gone. He's face down. There's blood everywhere. He's not breathing. I've checked his pulse. There's no pulse. Preliminary investigations showed that documents from the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services noted the FreeFall drop tower passed inspection on December 20th, 2021, just before the grand opening for Christmas. No deficiencies were listed in the report. The agency also noted that the ride was scheduled for inspection in June 2022, midway through the permit year. Right after the incident, the ride was initially temporarily closed until further notice, while the incident was being investigated. However, according to a recent report, the ride is now scheduled for dismantling. Investigators also discovered that the ride's owner manual lists the rider's weight limit at 130 kilograms, while the victim, Tyre Sampson, was just over 6 feet tall and weighed 173 kilograms. This fact alone means the Tyre should not have been allowed to take the FreeFall drop ride. The park simply failed in training staff on how to spot people who would be at risk if they took the ride due to weight issues. According to experts, it is as easy as placing a scale where people will be asked to stand on it for a couple of seconds to determine if they should be allowed to take the ride or not. The investigators went as far as hiring a forensic engineering firm called Quest Engineering and Failure Analysis Inc. to aid in investigating Tyre Sampson's death. The firm found something very disturbing. It discovered that manual adjustments had been made to 2 seats on the FreeFall drop tower ride, including the seat that was occupied by Tyre Sampson that day he died. These adjustments were recent and took place after the last inspection. The new adjustment allowed for a greater gap than normal between the safety harness and the seat. The firm concluded that the cause of the subject accident was that Tyre Sampson was not properly secured in the seat, primarily due to misadjustment of the harness proximity sensor. These misadjustments allowed the safety lights to illuminate improperly, satisfying the ride's electronic safety mechanism that allowed the ride to operate. Based on this report, the state immediately declared the FreeFall ride a public hazard. Most recent reports point out that it is scheduled for dismantling in the near future. Tyre's parents, Nekia Dodd and Yarnell Sampson, hired different attorneys but filed a wrongful death lawsuit together. The lawsuit names multiple defendants, including Icon Park, Orlando Slingshot, the ride's manufacturer, Austria-based Funtime Handles, and the manufacturer of the seats and harnesses, Germany-based Gestlauer Amusement Rides. The lawsuit said the defendants failed to warn Sampson about the risks of someone his size going on the ride, and that they did not provide an appropriate restraint system. To this day, it is not clear why the park entered modifications on the FreeFall drop ride without consulting the manufacturer. The sad truth is, we may never know the whole truth, but the fact remains, if the park was not negligent, Tyre Sampson would still be alive today, probably training in the field with his football team. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell button to get notified every time we upload a new video that will take you to the heart of the scenes and mysteries of some of the most terrifying incidents, accidents, disasters, and paranormal events from around the world.